Mofos, a podcast for rebels who will never stop pushing the limits of what is possible and attainable in their lives. Hosted by me, Scoob Lansdorfer, and Virginia Coe, both have faced and overcame obstacles utilizing the power of mindset, action. I love action, and rebellion. I actually like rebellion too. What's
I
up,
love
Virginia?
rebellion. I love rebellion.
Me too. I love the rebellion. Just the misfit part of it, the outcast, don't live inside the box. Push the limits, blaze your own trail. All that. I know that has been blown up recently, but I do live my life that way. I really do. And I'm not trying to be some cool dude or whatever, but definitely live my life that way. I hate being contained in a box. I hate rules. I hate rules. I hate regulations. I hate saying you're trapped here. You know what I mean? And here we go off on the tangent because, like usual, me and you.
I was going to join you.
We never have a structure. One of the things me and you do is, and I love it from the beginning, you know, a lot of people even have an outline they follow. We don't follow no outline. We come up with a subject. That's it. The subject for this one is the power of words. We got that from our last podcast. So, I mean, just being straight up, this is our third podcast already for today. The first one we had to totally scrap because it was a coaching session for me because I had some shit on my chest. And you helped me through that because that's what we do, and it's awesome. And then the second one will be out. We'll put that out soon. But in that second one, we come up with the power of words. And we're like, oh my God, we got to make that a podcast. So here we are doing it right now without our outline, just winging it. And I noticed we were about to go off on boxes, misfits, rebellion.
Yo, I was right there.
I know. Go ahead.
Ready to join you in your craziness.
Well, you know
what we do.
Say it again.
That's just what we do. We go off and feed off of that.
Absolutely. So, what did you have to say on rebellion? I want to hear what you have to say.
That we're so programmed to be in the box, stay in the box. The term "stay in your lane" pisses me off. Like. Yeah. What lanes? Like, fuck that. I can fly. I don't know about you.
So agree with you. That's so true.
But yeah, it's part of that program that sure, if you want to stay in your lane and you want to play that part, do it. But if you want to go a little bit deeper, be a little bit bigger, throw the rules out.
Throw the rules out. That's why I loved and even talk about. Like, we're so against the rules and the misfit and the rebellion thing that we actually said about the word coach, because that's what we do. Like, it's getting blown up and it's driving me nuts too. I'm like, that's just a little bit of that rebellion in me. Like, I don't want the word coach anymore because you're seeing it everywhere on Facebook, all over the place. It's actually, and it ruins it for everybody else. That's really out there trying to do a service, a real good, passionate service for people and help people actually have breakthroughs. Like me and you are, and we are, for maybe you're just joining us and never seen us before, but that is our passion. But the coach word now, when they said, what are we going to call it now? What do we got to call it?
Well, I go by belief alchemist because I work with the belief system. So I change your belief system. So that's what I chose for myself. But I think everybody has to choose what is comfortable for them.
Yeah.
I did have somebody, in one of the training sessions that I had signed up for, she came up to me and she's like, why don't you call yourself a coach? Like, it's so hot right now. And I looked at her and I was like, that's exactly why I'm not calling myself a coach, because I don't need to be a hot ticket item. I need to be authentic and I need to be myself and I need to serve people in the most authentic, open way.
Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that. Which I'm thinking right now, to top of my head, and it's making me sad, is I've always been a coach, a motocross coach. And like, I'm thinking, God, I was a coach before it was ever cool. You know what I mean? And, and not saying that to brag or anything, but it does kind of suck that now it's getting run down and like.
Well, it doesn't mean the same.
Yeah, correct. It's like everything in the guru, and all that, you know, and guru and coach. And what was the other one right before that was getting blown up? Life, you know, even life coach, but that's part of coach. I was trying to think. There was another word there. They just kind of, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you know, blew up same way, kind of ruined it. And I like belief alchemist though. That's cool.
Mhm.
So that's what I like too, is that when you think outside the box, you're a misfit, a rebellion, a rebel, you come up with these new terms, you know. Other than that, you wouldn't come up with them because you just follow the norm, which is coach. But now so you got me already. So I'm already thinking, ooh, Virginia has belief alchemist. I got to come up with one on my own. Like,
Do it.
you know,
I want to hear what it's going to be.
no, I'm trying to think of one right now, but I can't really think of one. I don't know, but I will. I will.
But do you realize, like, coach authentically matches who you are?
Yeah.
Because you're an OG, like you're an original.
An original gangster. Yeah.
Mhm.
I always using like the inspire-aholic. I know that kind of don't, but I always liked that holic part of it, like the part of being addicted to something, so to speak, or like I always had this vision of creating a website where it was, instead of like the needle for heroin or the line for coke or the dollar bill rolled up, it's like it's love and peace and positive, and like different things you're injecting into you. You know what I mean? So is that stupid? Is that so stupid?
That's you.
You like that?
For me?
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I'm riding out belief alchemist, motherfucker.
I like that. Like, you know what I picture with that? The bowl, and you're stirring up, you're creating. That's cool. I like that. That's really cool. I get visuals when I'm a real visual. So I have visual, like the alchemist, like misfit rebellion thing. You know, a lot of people aren't teaching you or showing you or talking about the power of words. It's kind of against the grain right now. You know what I mean? And it's a big, big thing. Everyone jumps into whatever it is in life coaching, this or that, the changing, but the power of words is kind of its own, and it's huge. People don't realize how big it actually is, how much impact, I should say, it has on your life, and can have on your life, the power of
Big
words.
time.
Yeah.
Big time. The words have frequency, they have energy behind them, and they create momentum based on how you use them and how you speak. And that's a really odd concept for people to grasp.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain it other than you are either propelling yourself towards your goal in a positive way, or you are repelling yourself away from it, based on the words that you're choosing.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the problems is you're so used to just speaking. We've spoke for thousands of years now, and you have you're right. And so it just becomes this, like, it's really not that big of a thing. Because you're so used to it, right? To where, other things that seem more, that hit you more, like awareness, like, oh, I'm aware of that, and I can change that now. You've just been speaking all your life since you've been little, and so you don't really realize that, like we talked about in the other podcast, that you can put curses on people. You can be cursed through it. It is energy. It is the power of your word, which sets the intention and the trajectory of where you're going to go by that statement, and also how you phrase it, right? How I am's against I will, or
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
So in Psyche, the modality that I use in my healing sessions, you have to be very intentional, because the subconscious mind does not recognize certain things. And
Correct.
The subconscious mind is very literal. So you have to speak those words in a specific manner in order to get the result that you want. I could say, if I'm creating a goal,
Yeah.
Pick a goal. What do you want to do? Pick a goal.
I will go with the normal one, whenever I lose 10 pounds.
Okay. If I say I want to, the subconscious mind is like, what the fuck is want? Like, how do I program that in there?
Yep.
So it's not even I can, because I can get up and punch you in the nose.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I am 10 pounds lighter.
Yes.
That would have to be the very specific formula for getting your goal.
Yes, correct. And what you do when you say, how'd you say it? I want to lose 10 pounds. Yeah, I want to lose 10 pounds. It leaves the subconscious mind to search for a bunch of different answers, because it's gonna, you know what I mean?
It's gonna create consistent want. It will never fulfill, it will never click that goal into place because you said that you want. So your subconscious mind is like, I joke all the time, it's your belief genie. So if you're rubbing that lamp and you're telling it what you want, be specific, because you just said you want something.
Yes.
So you will never have something because you want it. And the belief genie says, well, he wants it, meaning that he's always going to be in that state of want, because that's what you just created with your words.
Yeah, it's that old saying, and it's that way of learning how to do that. It's all, you know, growing up myself personally, I was Catholic. I don't have all them beliefs anymore, but some of the stuff, you know, that old thing, ask and you shall receive. But what they don't tell you is
how.
What's that?
They don't tell you how.
How, correct. They don't tell you how. And so prayer itself is a way of asking for stuff, right? But it's one of the biggest breakthroughs I had through in word, because prayer is word to yourself, asking, you know, to yourself and asking the universe for something that you are an attention you're trying to obtain, and a goal, maybe that is. And one of the biggest breakthroughs I had personally myself was asking for stuff that you have, being grateful and saying it out loud with your word that you're grateful, thankful for stuff you have not even received yet.
Yep.
Which will also makes, like, you know, so for example, we'll use a different one. Say you want to build a new house. I don't know why that just popped in my house, but like you start to be thankful. So you'll have a vision in your head of what that house looks like. Of course you do. You know what I mean? What you want inside, how you want the fireplace to look. And you have to be thankful for that already before it ever happens. And say, thank you for that wood fireplace, you know. And a lot of times, you know, you're not saying it's always going to turn out, but you're going to get that because you're praying a different way now. You're thankful for stuff. You're thankful for that stuff. You have gratitude for that stuff. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And gratitude is key to building momentum towards manifestation.
Yep.
If you are not grateful for what you have right now, right in this moment, why is the universe going to give you more?
Exactly.
Or give you different?
Yeah.
So you have to really think about what you're creating, because we are creators. We're co-creators with the existence that we're in. So be very intentional with your speech.
Yeah, and that's a word. It starts with your word, the word to someone else or the word to yourself, you know, and that's that talk in your head, and that's all that part of that word. It starts with yourself, but then the biggest and one of the biggest things you can do is to tell it to 3 people. If it's a goal or an intention, you know what I mean? Like speak it out loud to somebody, you know,
but choose those people wisely.
Oh yeah.
Because if you choose somebody who's going to have a negative rebuttal, it's going to counteract what you are putting out into the universe.
Yeah, what I like to call energy vampires.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They like to suck the energy right out of you, right? Yeah, so the word's so huge, and you just don't, it's easy to forget about that. It's easy to really forget how powerful the word is, you know.
Absolutely.
Power. And we talked about in the last podcast, and we'll leave a link in this one too. There in the 4 Agreements, there's a book called the 4 Agreements. If you haven't read this book, it's a short read and you should read it. How about it? It's absolutely amazing. And one of them is the power of your words. What's the exact?
Be impeccable with your words.
Be impeccable with your words. And you know, and that's comes down to, and like he talks about in that book, just being true to what you say, whether that hurts people, it might hurt them, it might, you know, it might be, but it's just living through truth to yourself, truth to other people, and what you say, you do, you know?
Yep. 100% I agree with you. It is imperative to be impeccable with your words, because they do create everything. What you speak, you create.
What you speak, you create. Yeah. And so a lot of people forget about that. Another thing is I had a coach, his name's Joe Degano, and I love often wanted to have him on this podcast, me and you interview him. You've never met him yet. And I've brought his name up to you, but you would love him. And we should have him on this podcast. And this is one of the things it's his biggest thing. He's a motocross coach along with me, but he also helps businesses grow. But his very first thing, no matter where you're at, is you come up with an intention, what you want, or whatever that's going to be. And if it's in motocross or business or your life, and then you speak that out loud, the power of the word, right? His other big one that ties into that is integrity. So once you speak it, now you have to live it through integrity. And even if it's maybe wrong, you might realize that, but you can't make excuses for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be straight up and say, hey, I'm trying to think of an example. I spoke that out loud and that's what I wanted, but now it's changed. It's not what I want no more. And you just have to now speak that out again. That might not turn out to be that way. I'm just saying, if it does, a lot of people like to beat around the bush then and then make excuses. Oh, well, I wasn't ready. I'm too young. I'm too tall. I'm too large, too fat. I'm too small, too whatever, you know what I mean? Or that's too big for me, or I can't handle that. Well, you spoke it. No, you can handle it. Okay, you can handle it. It might be big and overwhelming right now, but it can be handled.
That takes us back to can versus can't.
Yep.
Do not use the word can't. Say, how can I?
Yep.
Like, how can I?
Yeah.
How can I do this? How can I achieve this? How can this happen?
Absolutely. Keep going back to that, even when it looks too big and overwhelming.
Exactly.
Too big and overwhelming. Absolutely. I wrote some down here and I'm looking over at it real quick because the I ams, and I was thinking I will. Another one's I will make $1 million. Yeah.
So I will is the same as I want on a vibrational level. It
Right.
means someday.
Someday.
Do you want to wait forever? I don't want to wait forever. So change the word. You have to take the will out. So how about I'm a millionaire?
Yeah.
It's definitive and a now.
Yeah. And how about I'm a millionaire by December 31st? Do you like this? I'm a millionaire by December 31st through online digital marketing with my product of motocross coaching. Like this, to me, it's more specific you get. Some people don't agree with that. That's why I asked. Do you agree with that?
Yes, but here's the key. With what I do, here's the key.
Yeah.
It has to be now. It has to be positive. The universe doesn't understand, can't, won't, don't, whatever. And it has to be simple enough that a 5-year-old can understand you.
That's where I just got off track right there.
But not necessarily.
Yeah.
Because you're being very intentional with your words, and a 5-year-old can understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Now I like to always, when I'm coaching people, to put that time on it and put exactly how you're going to do it. Because there's, like you said, the universe, if it's got a little bit of variation or it's kind of not sure exactly, it can, you can search for all kinds of different means they'll come to you. But instead of going that direct line to where it would work out a little bit easier for you, it might be like this, right? I'm not saying that's terrible, but the more specific you can be through your word, the more direct you're going to be, like a ship leaving port going right to the next, and it's mapped straight out, I'm not saying there's going to be storms through that and variations and all kinds of shit. That can definitely happen. But boy, your direct line is going to be a lot better,
So when you say that you're putting it out there, how you're going to do it, those are your actionable steps, the actionable steps that you're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than how you're going to receive it, because that is on an energetic level, and receiving, remember, you have to remember that receiving can come in many forms.
Yes.
So do not limit yourself and say, okay, if I'm going to get $1 million, it's going to be a check from Publishers Clearinghouse. Well, you just eliminated all the other ways that $1 million can come to you.
Come to you. Exactly. Yep. I know. And that's, a lot of people make a mistake there with that, you know, and a lot of people don't realize that, you know, the gift to receive thing, so to speak. And when you give, you can receive back in different ways. It don't have to be the way you give, right?
Yes.
You know, it could be, if you give money, you might receive it back in love. You might receive it back in peace. You might receive it back in a gift, in the sense of a direction to send you on a new path or whatever, you know, whatever that may be. And what you and a lot of people forget that they can give this kind of stuff too. I know this is kind of jumping off the power of the word, but we who cares? This is what we're notorious for.
It goes back to the energetics of everything though. So everything is connected, and it's connected through the energetics of the intention.
Correct. And a lot of people don't. So I was going to finish that with saying, a lot of people don't realize that you can give all this stuff too. It don't always have to be about money. You can give love. You can give peace. You can give time. You can give confidence. You can all the positive. If I Googled right now and brought up a list of every positive thing, you can give all that in some form, right? And you know, so give. Like, a big lesson I learned through life was to give a lot, you know what I mean? To give all I can and be passionate, positive about that. And, you know, and don't give to receive, don't expect it. And it's gonna probably come back in some crazy other ass form, you know what I mean? But it'll come back in some positive way.
Yep.
Just not maybe the way you.
Again, I'm always going to go back to the energetics of what we're putting out there.
Yeah.
That everything we do as human beings is an exchange of energy.
Yep.
And so many times you hear people speaking about abundance and things like that. Well, abundance doesn't just mean currency.
Yes.
So even though you're giving time or money, you get it back in so many other ways. And it's that cycle again. It comes back. It always comes back.
Always comes back. Correct. Absolutely. How about this? I'm thinking you're so right on that. And that actually touches, we have that. I was thinking we have that Motivational Mojo to get your kind of motivation back, that ebook we sell. It's a great ebook, and it touches on that in there, the abundance mindset. So if something you guys are interested in, we sell it for $7. We'll leave a link down below. You can check that out. But the other thing is, you know, back to the power of words, the words of that you speak to yourself through self-talk, you know, another huge one. And we talked about it a little bit on the podcast, the first one that we threw out, of, you know, where I was self-judging. I became aware of self-judging myself, call myself like a fat fuck at one point. And it was doing it so much that I wasn't even aware of it no more. But it actually put me in a cell, you know, and to break that thing, I need to become aware of it. But that's still self-talk. That's still talk to yourself that's limiting you tremendously, that's taking your energies and pushing them down. You're not going to vibrate in a higher level. You're locking yourself down pretty hard. And a lot of times you don't realize you're even doing it.
Because you've been doing it your whole life.
Your whole life. Exactly.
And what you're doing is you're repeating a pattern. You're repeating that subconscious pattern of something that somebody said when you were younger, and it stuck, and you adopted it as your own program. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be your program anymore. Like, you really need to recognize, be self-aware, and see those patterns in the speech, especially when it comes to the way you talk to yourself. Because if you switch it and see yourself as a child, would you ever speak to a child that way?
Yeah, exactly.
Never. We say some of the ugliest things, and we believe some of the ugliest things about ourselves, and we would never allow that to happen to a child. So you honestly need to reparent yourself and protect yourself. And
isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy though, that you'll actually talk that much bullshit to yourself? I mean, holy fuck. Like, you'll actually be that mean, so to speak, or downgrading and evil and mean and to yourself. And like you just said, a kid could walk through the door. You could be just killing yourself with your word. And that kid walks through you doing, you'll be the nicest person. Why can't you switch that and do it to yourself? You know, boy, the breakthroughs you have when you learn to do that is unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
And the other
So
thing, go ahead.
what I'm going to tell people is that the relationship that you have with yourself is the benchmark for the relationship you are capable of having with other people. So if you have a shitty relationship with yourself, you're going to be pulling in shitty relationships.
Absolutely.
So you have to really heal and do some heavy self-care around the relationship that you have with yourself. And you have to rebuild that and reestablish that and really learn to love yourself first. It's not selfish. It is the tipping point, and you raise the benchmark, and you will be able to attract a much healthier relationship if the relationship that you have with yourself is healthy. Yeah. And it's not just the relationship that you have with people. It is your relationship with money. It is your relationship with everything around you, not just people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me wait. I got to say something though. You have told me in the past on podcasts. I'm going to call you out for a second here, because I need to hear this. And I've said to myself, all right, no, wait, not to myself. I've said to you, when we were talking about being single, right? Positively single, and also dating on the dating apps. I said one time that you have to become, to attract the person you really want out there, you have to fix yourself first. You have to become attractive, and then you will attract that person. You kind of didn't remember, you didn't like that. Or something.
I did, but I bitched at you because of the way you worded it.
Words, see? How'd I word? I fucked the words up.
Because the way that you had worded it sounded more like you needed to change things about yourself to attract a different type of person. And I don't want anybody to feel like they have to change for someone. You actually have to become you to attract the right person. I got you.
But you could change things that maybe some bad habits you collected along the way that now you're not, that's not serving you so much anymore. You know what I mean? And you thought that they might have been, but you can change them, and you can change them on an instant. Everyone thinks it takes all this time to change it. It's just a decision to change that, and which makes you now a better human, I guess. Is that the word I'm looking for? More attractive human, more, you know what I mean? So
authentic.
Authentic. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because I was thinking that as we were talking there, I'm like, wait. But you're right. I love how you're right. I was saying about how but no, it's just clean yourself up a little bit as far as bad habits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll agree with you on that.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Damn it, I thought I had you.
Nope, this one time.
Okay, let's talk about this for a second. And this is on my mind too. And that is, we got into it in the last podcast, how you can curse somebody with the power of your word.
Yes. So, that sounds deep and dark, but it is, it's a thing. It's a thing.
It is.
So I have this thing mostly with medical professionals about their speech and the words that they choose. Mm-hmm. And everybody knows what a placebo is. It is something that can trigger a positive response in somebody. They talk about placebo medications and things like placebo studies where people have a positive reaction even though they didn't receive a chemical concoction, whatever.
Yep. They took a fake pill that set.
It is the power of your mind creates this shift. Yep. It can happen in reverse, and it's called the nocebo effect. And what the nocebo effect is, it's a negative reaction to a speech or something that is said to you. So this is why it drives me crazy in the medical field, is because number one, we call people patients.
Yeah.
Don't call me a fucking patient, because if you look at the word patient, it is synonymous with a victim, with suffering, with convalescence.
Yeah.
How about we don't speak that over this temple? Like,
Absolutely.
so when I would go to appointments with my oncologist, like I was just waiting for somebody to, A, call me a patient, 2, call me a cancer patient, because
Yeah.
I will lose my crap.
Mhm.
But they were very cognizant about how they interacted. However,
That's
if you
good.
look at the reverse, cancer patients are, let's say somebody is misdiagnosed with terminal illness. They will physically make themselves sick if their subconscious belief system aligns with manifesting illness.
Yeah.
And if you were brought up in a home where somebody was sick all the time, it's ingrained in you.
Yeah.
And you flip on certain genes because you can flip them on, flip them off. Did you know that?
Oh, that's the absolute truth.
Based on your belief system. So when people say, Mrs. Jones, you only have 2 months to live. Well, if Mrs. Jones aligns with that and she is, let's say it's a legit cancer diagnosis, her life expectancy just tanked because somebody put that in her thought process and she believes it at a subconscious level. So now she starts to flip the switch to manifest the illness.
Absolutely.
I was never going to identify with being a cancer patient, and I wasn't going to turn that switch on. Why the fuck would I turn that switch on? Instead, I'm going to align with, I am healthy, I heal quickly. My mindset was key, and the words spoken over me were key, because I would always tell my doctors, like, I don't want to hear anything negative spoken. Like,
correct.
We're not going to go there.
And who,
we're only going to look at the positive.
Yes, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to say this real quick so I don't lose it. Who has the right, I don't care who you are, to tell you that you have only 2 months to live, 3 months to live? No one should be able to tell another human being that in any way, shape, or form. That
is one of the things I would love to change. If I had a magic wand and I could change that one sentence, you telling somebody how long they have to live, fuck that. There's one thing to create an expectation of, how do I even put it? You can express an expectation without making a death sentence.
Yes. Okay.
You know, you can say, this is rare.
And guess what it's going back to?
These are things that were said to me. This is weird. This is rare. That's fine. You can say all that. Just do not, there is no expiration date stamped on me.
Correct.
So for somebody to say it, fuck off.
I agree with you. It's no one has that right to say that at all. And I don't care if you got doctor behind your name, what's behind your name. You know, and some people might here believe in that God might have that, the universe might have that saying, not us. We don't have the right to judge anything.
But we're co-creators.
Yes.
We're co-creators. So if you're going to go with the guide or the God and the universe thing, you have to remember that you're in tandem with them then. Yeah. And at that point you are co-creating. So what are you going to co-create? You're going to co-create health and healing or devastation. Correct. Either one, but it's your words that are pushing you towards one or the other.
Or the negative.
And these studies about the nocebo effect have been done by the New England Journal of Medicine, Harvard Medical School. Like, it's a legit thing that the power of words can set you one way or another.
Absolutely. Oh, so agree with it. I mean, we looked this back, and I didn't want to cut you off because I really liked you.
On a roll.
You were on a roll, girl, and I loved it. But you were basically saying you were on a killer roll. But you were saying in there, when you watch this back, everything led back to what people were saying. The word, everything you said, it always leads back to that word.
Because it triggers the belief.
Triggers the belief. Even for you, that was going through cancer, it was about what you decided to make your word. Whether you decided that to be, fuck you, doctor. You said I got 3 months to live. I'm not living by that. I'm living by that.
I don't believe that.
Correct. That was your word, though.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it. You just said, spoke it, right? And so that should show you how powerful this act is, because it starts right there. And then it goes into different stuff, your actions, your mental, and your decisions, right? Decisions. We've always talked about decisions on this podcast. Yeah, so that all comes into play, but it all starts with that word. And the word comes right from the mental part of it, you know?
And I'm going to tell you that the universe can tell when you are full of shit.
Yeah.
So when you are verbalizing one thing, but your vibration is not matching that, the universe instantly knows. You don't believe that? That's bullshit. Bullshit.
Yep. And we talk, you know,
I love you, or bless your heart, and you really mean fuck off.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Bless your heart, but inside you're like, fuck you.
Exactly. The universe picks up on that right away and carries out what the original vibration of that intent is. So that's why I say you have to be intentional with the words that you speak, because the universe hears the intent behind the word, not the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that. And look, here's a great example too of a kind of different situation where you could curse somebody. We started this off with the curse, right? The curse of that, which sounds like this, but it's true. And I'm going back and thinking of that 4 Agreements because it's such a great book, and we'll leave that link. But there's a story in there he tells about a young girl who sings. Do you remember this? And she just comes home every day singing. She loves to sing. Well, the mom just had a bad day. She was like a nurse or something. This is how easy the word can screw you over, curse you, especially young kids, because they're malleable, right? And and so what happened was, in that story, the girl just was singing. She just loved singing. And the mom came home from a bad day and just said to her something. I'm not going to get this perfect, but it was like, would you stop that singing? You sound horrible to me right now, and you're giving me a headache. And it cursed that girl. It was a curse that was placed, a curse through her word on that girl. And she's never went on to ever sing or do anything again. The girl actually had a beautiful voice. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's crazy.
It happens all the time.
Happens all the time. And so I say that story to be so people maybe listening on this, to be aware that maybe you are a parent, you have younger kids. Be careful. Really be careful what you say. You got it.
Because you are creating the program that is going to essentially be running their subconscious throughout their adulthood. Because I say this all the time. The subconscious mind is developed between 0 and 7. That is the program that it's mom and dad, it's aunts, uncles, it's school, it's whatever they are seeing in their environment. So be cognizant of where you are taking your kids and what they are exposed to, because that is it's creating the programs that they're going to play out throughout their adult life. Yeah.
The one nice thing is, and that's what we do through our Belief Alchemist and our Inspireaholic, and that is, it is just a computer program, and it can be all new software. Can be installed, reinstalled, downloaded, reinstalled. You can wipe the old files out. You know, you're not going to wipe the whole files out completely, as far as but you can. Your brain's just basically a massive supercomputer.
I joke that I am running on Windows 1971 and that there are completely outdated programs that that I needed to replace, and I have been working on myself, and I work with other coaches, and I work with other psyche facilitators, because it is really important to update your software.
Yes, no doubt about it. And that's growth. We talked about in the last podcast. That's then now growth. You know, it's just all this stuff. You know, it's funny how when we're doing a podcast, you know, you come up with a subject, but it all leads back to the same stuff. This is not the hardest thing in the world. It's not some crazy thing to do here, as far as like to reprogram yourself and live on the positive and have abundance and health and wealth. It's a decision, it's action. It all's down to them things. It's you know, rewiring the programs if you have bad software in there, from power of the word, curses. It's like me and you, we work with our own coaches. We coach, but we work with our own coaches, you know. Yep. I'm always trying to become a better coach myself. You know, it's the growth thing. And yeah, so Yeah, I
Well, I
love
want
it.
to be able to provide the best service I can for people. And the only way that I can do that is if I handle my own crap.
Exactly.
And it
Heck, you,
gives me the experience. I would not be able to work with cancer patients if I didn't have the gift of cancer. Like now I understand there are no resources in place. It's a myth. Because I would go into these appointments and say, nobody told me what the mental toll was going to be. And I'd have doctors. I had 5 doctors, and they would look at me and go, yeah. Yeah, what? Like,
yeah.
direct me somewhere. I'm essentially asking you for help, and they're clueless as to how to help. There's cancer support groups, but those are the ones that are identifying with the negative. There's very rarely anything that is aligning you with a positive.
Yeah. And isn't it funny how like, and I know this could go down a completely different rabbit hole, but isn't it funny how it's, how do I want to say this? It was almost kind of built to suppress us in a way, and it's sickening because now, the world is awakening a little bit, and you can find it through social media and YouTube and different people like Shadu Guru that I watch, and Psych K through like Dr.
Well,
Lipton, like Lipton and
Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza,
yep.
Wim Hof. You can
Well,
find it. You have to actively want to be a rebel and not identify with the system.
correct.
Because if you stay in the healthcare system, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt about it. Absolutely agree with you.
And I say that that probably wasn't right. I say that because I come from a little bit of a bitter.
Okay, I understand where
if
I
I
agree
broke
with you.
my leg tomorrow, like I would need the healthcare system.
Yeah, okay. Because I said, yeah, I totally agreed with you. But you're right. You do need the healthcare system, but you gotta also, what I mean, usually you're right. You're probably gonna maybe get fucked that way. It's just built that way. Let's be honest. I mean, the pharmaceutical industry is there to make money. It's sickening because it's greed, it's money. And listen, I'm not trying to go down this crazy rabbit hole either, but it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. And they're there, and it's not for your well-being, and it's not for your benefit. It's not for your good. It's just to feed you. It's to mask. Anything you take mask. It's not the root problem. The root problem, meditation, power your word, searching on your own, and you can, through your energies, like you say, and through it coaching, and there's different modalities to you can reach out to and find that'll help cure you. Now listen, I'm not speaking for any of that either, as far as like I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying this is what I kind of see and believe. It's up to you to make your own decisions on what you need to do for yourself, for sure.
And you have to listen to that inner guidance because it will push you.
That's you. Your heart.
Because when I started researching epigenetics and like mind-derived health optimization, I was like, what the fuck is all that? I kept getting this thought. It kept coming to me, and I was just like, am I in the field of dreams or what? It was belief is a healing modality. And it was after I was already cleared.
Yeah.
So why was I even thinking of it? But it just kept coming, and it just kept coming, and it just kept coming. And I was like, okay, I'm going to research this. And that's when I found Bruce Lipton, and that's when I found Psych K, and I knew like I can help people. I've had this experience, and now I can relate to people who are going through it, and I can help people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it became so much more than just a healing modality for cancer patients. Like I realized that it's the power of the mind and the things that you program into it based on that very clear intention with your words.
Yep.
That you can change your life. It's interpersonal stuff. It is being better in sports. It is excelling at your job, being more confident, being more secure in who you are. It's everything.
Starting your own business.
Everything that you have to believe that you can do it. And then
Yep.
take the action
It
to do it.
starts though with the power of the word. The power of the word then gives you your it starts that belief system, like, you know what I mean? And then it starts, and then you got to take that action. We talked about it before. The power of the word, the power of the word, you can speak it, but if you got to take the action next, if that's a goal of losing weight or starting building a house or starting a business, whatever that may be, becoming a professional motocross racer. I always use that one because that's what you know what I mean? But yeah, for sure. But the power of it's the first process in the whole thing, the power of the word, and how, like we talked about over this podcast, how you choose to do that correctly. Don't be careful with how you speak that word. You know, I am, be more direct, be more, not direct, but what word am I looking for? Be more specific with your intention of that instead of loosely letting it out there, because you'll lose, it just will come to you loosely. Right.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. I want, those are flimsy. Make it rock solid.
Exactly. And and like we talk about too, be grateful, be in gratitude and thankful for stuff that you might not even have yet. So, you know, you think about, we use the example of that house, you think, you know, I want this house up on that 67 acres out there in that farm. Well, you got to start being thankful that that's coming to you, and the doors are going to open for that. And if you're thankful for that before it ever happens, you're basically doing what I teach in my motocross training. You're living in a championship mindset. So you're going to that end goal first and then working it backwards, instead of saying, this is where I want to be. You know, I want to be this pro motocross racer, but you know, and then it's this long process of trying to find all the techniques and the skills and the modalities to accomplish that, when you're just like, you can live that, you can believe and have belief and that you're already there. I'm there. That's who I am. I'm going to live like that. That's scary to do though, because it's like, that's not me, so I shouldn't do that. But yeah, you can do that. You can live like that and believe that no matter what, it's going to work out for you, and you'll find the ways to accomplish it.
You become magnetic for what you want.
Yep.
So the more you speak it as if it already exists, the more you are pulling in what you want to actually exist in your field.
Yep. Exactly. Well, you know, that this great podcast, and that's what we do, and that's why we do motivational mofos, is because that's what we're trying to motivate. It's motivational mofos. It's about the positive things, right? And helping people put that foot in front of that other and have breakthroughs, and through everything that we talked about through all these podcasts. You can go back through on Facebook and look at what this is episode, I don't know, 10, 11 now or something like that.
I don't know.
And whatever it is, but you know, they're all good podcasts that are here to you know, inspire you and through life lessons that we learned ourselves through, you know, being down at the rock bottom, we talked about in the podcast, and building yourself back up and coming back up. You know, no gurus here, just people that have lived it and experienced it ourselves. And if we can give that back to anybody through this podcast and motivate you, then that is our goal, right?
100%.
No doubt. Awesome. So one of the things we do offer is we just started this actually through the last podcast. If you listen to the last podcast, you'll see it again. And here we are again at this podcast, and it's a free coaching session with us that we want to offer to sign up. You can go to Calendly, sign up, and you'll pick a date, and we'll reach back out to you, and we a 1 hour free coaching session to help you wherever you stand in your life right now to have breakthroughs, and you know, and wherever that is. Maybe you want to learn about more of the power of the word. How does this work? You want to get deeper into, you know, the I ams, and how can, you know, we can talk about that, or wherever you're stuck at right now, wherever that dam is built up. We want to kick the logs out and break down the wall and let the water flow through, right? The positivity.
And you may not even know where your block is, but trust me, we can see it.
Yeah. And that's another great thing about a coach I love too, is that sometimes you that's what coaching is about. You need someone else to look at it from a different perspective. You're sometimes looking at it through your own, you know, your own experience, your own eyes, and you got a false perception of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you get someone else, like someone else to talk to you, and through your word, as you're talking, we start to see what what you're creating for yourself. And a lot of times it can be a negative thing. Me and you both do it. Heck, the first podcast we threw out, you had to coach me a little bit, right?
Yep.
And then I come back with these 2 podcasts. You're like, holy heck, you're a completely different person. Because
because all you needed to do was clear it.
I just needed to clear it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's what we want to do. So sign up for a free coaching call and we'll help you clear whatever bullshit you got going on. Mm-hmm. Your method's through Psych K and Lipton and all that. And I love your method, and that worked for me. And my method is through more of, and if you're interested in like online business and stuff like that, that's my kind of forte. But I'm also through that motivation, the inspiring to get, through the power of my word and my speech and my deep, gruggly voice to have you say, yes, I can do this. Yes, this is possible. Yes, let me step up. Yes. And get you out of that funk,
Because it's always possible. You just have to align.
Absolutely. So if you want to do that, all you have to do is just hit the button below that's in the link and sign up. Go ahead. What do you got to lose? Just
nothing.
Negative shit in your life.
Some of y'all like your negative shit. You need to let it go.
Let it go.
Thrive off of drama. Let it go.
Absolutely. All right. Well, anything you want to end with, or?
No, that was fun. That was good.
Yeah. All right. Well, peace out, everybody. See you later.
Next time.